Peace and love, everybody. Welcome to Candid Conversation. I hope everybody's doing well today. If this is your first time here, welcome. And for our day ones, we appreciate y'all continuing to support us. Thank you so much. But yeah, this is Candid Conversation, where we discuss topics that are not always popular,
but important.
Yes,
very important. I'm trying to do this little technology
and the answers
situation here.
Cannot hide. So yeah, we appreciate y'all joining us. I am one half of your host, King George, aka Mr. Knowledge is Power, but only if it's applied. And if you don't know who my beautiful co-host is, this is the intelligent, my one and only, my queen,
Dr.Natalie, Nicole. Happy Sunday, everybody. How's it going? How's everybody doing?
Listen, we have a great show for y'all this evening. So yeah, make sure y'all are in the comment section and make sure that you're engaged and make sure that you are putting your comments in the comment section because, you know, we love to have open dialogue and that is the way we grow.
1 second. We're playing somewhere else.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah, but we hope everybody's doing well. Again, we got a great show for y'all. And I'm going to go ahead and get into the quote for today while my co-host is checking out our sound real quick. Let's see. Our quote for today simply reads, "The cost of never taking a risk is spending the rest of your life wishing you had."
Ooh, that's good.
One more time. The cost of never taking a risk is spending the rest of your life wishing you had.
Okay. Ooh.
So yeah, whatever that thing is that you always wanted to do, I think you should take a risk and do it. They say it's never too late.
Oh.
It's never too late. You're never too old because a lot of entrepreneurs, if we're talking about entrepreneurship, started in their late stages of life, 50s, some in early 60s. So yeah, we don't ever want to look back and say, I wish I had.
Well, I'm glad you narrowed that down to entrepreneurship because, you know, it's election season, y'all. And some of y'all, if that was a dream.
In full effect.
Maybe no.
In full effect.
Maybe not.
But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we got a great show for y'all. And we're going to start with making sure that you're registered to vote.
Yes. Tomorrow is the very last day.
Yeah.
To register to vote. And it's a real simple process, right? You visit the website, myvoter.gov.
Yeah.
And you put your information in and you're registered.
Just that simple.
Yes.
So if you are registered to vote, make sure that you're making sure that your information is up to date and correct.
Right.
Your name is good, your address is good, because you don't want to wait until the last minute and then everything is not good and then you're up the creek,
right.
As they say.
So just a real personal situation. Like for me, since when I turned 18 and I was able to vote, it's been a big deal. Even when I was a soldier, I would send my absentee ballot to Florida because I'm born and raised from Florida.
Yeah.
It was a big deal to me. I always tried to vote. And now that I'm a resident of Georgia, since I got here, relocated here, 2018, I hit the ground running, supporting campaigns and voting. But what do you say to people who are on the opposite side of that spectrum and they feel like, it's a waste of time, voting doesn't work, things of that nature? Because I feel like that was a little bit of, how I met you a long time ago.
Yeah. So what I would say to those people is they're just misinformed and they're not paying attention. They're not paying attention, but in a sense they are.
Yes, they are.
So when you see things that are happening around you and you don't know why and you're frustrated, you need to get out and vote to make your voice heard. So you can be a part of the process. You know what I mean? So you can let people know what you don't like and what you like and what's not needed in Columbus or what's needed in Columbus. So that's part of the process when it comes to the local level or the federal level. Your voice does matter.
Yes, and one vote matters. We've heard stories.
Especially locally.
Yes, we've heard stories from candidates where they lost by one vote.
Yeah.
So imagine that one vote, it does matter. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. And, there's no, if I don't vote, it doesn't mean anything because it does mean something. Either your vote does not support the direction in which we're trying to go, or It does.
Right.
So it really is important that everybody gets out to vote. And then I see Denise put the link in there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Denise. Thank you.
For putting that information in the comment section. And Denise has been Denise has been boots on the ground with flyers, with the voter information, registration links, and all that good stuff on there.
It.
Yes, and so we actually met someone who said they had received a card on their car, and it was from Denise. So Denise has been very instrumental in making sure people get out and register to vote. Thank you so much for that.
We appreciate you, Denise. Thank you so much for all that you do, keeping people informed, being in the trenches, boots on the ground is much needed. So we appreciate it. We need 10,000 more Denises.
Yeah, she's very effective, honey, as one person.
Yeah.
She, what's the quote where it says, I stand as one, but I have 10,000 on my shoulders?
Yeah.
I think I messed that up, but something like that.
Okay.
She comes strong as an individual person with all the ancestors. So we are so grateful for you and what you bring to our community.
Yeah, so thank you again. But yeah, we're going to get into the election calendar. So yeah, without further ado, your voter registration deadline, again, tomorrow, April 20th, is the deadline to register to vote. So make sure you get out there tomorrow and make sure you're participating in early voting.
Yes.
That way, if there's a discrepancy, if there's an issue, you still have time to fix it before the May 19th election.
Yes, and one quick situation. We visited Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant Baptist Church today.
Yes, Major Turner and Mrs. Turner's church this morning.
Yeah.
And they were sure to announce it. They were also sure to make sure that people in the congregation understood where to register to vote. And if they had any issues, Major Turner was like, come see me. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
People being in the churches, in our communities, making sure people are aware and knowing how to vote, how to register, when to vote, and all those good things, and to vote early. So I just want to throw that in since you said about the early voting. There are people in our community that's willing to help you and support you.
Right.
You're not in this by yourself, so if you need help registering to vote, if you need help getting to the polls for early voting, April 27th through May 15th, hey, let us know.
Thank you for that. And yeah, again, voter registration deadline tomorrow, April 20th. Make sure that you are there checking your voter registration, and make sure if you're not registered, tomorrow is the last day to register. And then advanced voting, April 27th, is advanced voting. And voting early is crucial. So again, you want to vote early. You don't want to wait till the last minute because anything could happen, and that costs a vote.
And speaking of voting early, I see Dr. Broadwater watching as well. He has
Salute,
shared, hello, sir. He is also boots on the ground. He has shared a document that has the questions for both Democrat and Republican on the ballot. And so what you don't want to do is get to that ballot and have no idea what the questions are and you are not prepared. So please check out his page. He is a community leader, advocate, and you can see all the questions that will be asked for you if you're a Democrat, if you get a Democrat ballot, and if you get a Republican ballot.
Right.
But if you get a nonpartisan ballot, there's no questions on there. So you want to make sure you choose one or the other so that you can support the questions that's being answered.
Right.
Ask. Yes.
Right. So thank you, Dr. Broadwater, Senior.
Yes.
We appreciate you, sir, for all that you do.
Yes.
Salute.
Yes, we are so grateful for the people that are past the lip service. We see, a lot of people on social media, a lot of people talking, but we know for sure Dr. Broadwater is showing up, Denise is showing up, Major Turner is showing up. And so we are very grateful for what you all bring to our community. Very grateful.
Right. Consistently they show up.
That part, yes, that part.
Yeah, so advanced voting, May 15th. Early voting ends May 15th. That's the last day that you can vote early. Of course, the election is May 19th. But again, you don't want to wait until the last minute. You want to get in there early so that you can make sure that you're good to go and there's no issues.
Right.
March 2nd was the first day for absentee balloting requests. So if you need an absentee ballot, if you know someone that needs an absentee ballot, make sure that you get with us. Put your comments in the comment section.
Yes.
But it's really a simple process, but maybe not so for someone who's senior citizen and they don't know how to navigate it. So again, there's people in the community who are available like us, like Major Turner, like Denise, like Dr. Broadwater Senior, who's available to help you and give you the information you need so that you can get your absentee ballot in.
And real quick, I printed several of them off. You delivered and you helped someone fill out their absentee ballot. If you need an absentee ballot, if you don't have a printer, if you know, because you have to sign them, right? You have to sign the actual application. Let us know. I printed off several. We do not mind making sure you get what you need so that you can get your absentee ballot turned in so that you can vote.
And if you do it online, you have to download it. Now, it's not going to let you move forward. You have to download it first and then sign it. But it's not going to let you move forward until you download it. So if you're having issues online, make sure you're downloading it first when you get to that point. And then once you download it, it'll let you go further. And then you can complete it. But yeah, you have to download it. You have to print it and then sign it if you do it online. But if not, if you have the paper, of course, you can just fill it out with the pen, but yeah, so make sure that you're informed about absentee balloting requests. And the last day is May 8th for that, to get your absentee ballot in.
Okay, so there's no excuses right now. Everything we've talked about, there's no excuses. If you need help, you have community, you have people who are willing to support you. Listen, we on social media about a lot of things. Let's make sure we're using it also to help us in this way as it regards to voting.
Yes.
Okay,
so
was that it? Was that
all? I think that's it for the election calendar. Without further ado, we're going to jump into everything that's been going on. Of course, the stage is set locally for the politics that's going on here in Columbus, Georgia. If you have not been paying attention, there's a lot been going on with politics. And this election, we can't say it enough. This election is crucial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is pivotal.
It's definitely pivotal. And people must show up to the polls. If you don't do anything else, because again, like we talked about, people show up to dance, people show up to party, people show up to do other things that in the grand scheme of things are not going to move the city forward.
Yes.
You need to make sure that you're registered to vote. You need to make sure that you show up to vote in this coming up election.
Absolutely.
Because,
and we need you to vote informed,
yes.
right? There's a lot of loose language out here, and I think Mr. Isaiah Hughley put it forth. We are overwhelmed, put it best. We are overwhelmed with misinformation. And listen, if you don't do your research, if you don't make yourself smart, if you don't have these uncomfortable conversations, then you will just go along to get along with what's being put out here in the community. And that is unfortunate. That is a detriment to our community. What do you think? I've heard some people say that, they are formed out. There's been too many forums. What do you say to that?
It's a part of the process. Especially if you're a candidate.
Yeah.
Now, those on the outside looking in, who are attending, the citizens, maybe they can be burned out. But as a candidate, you don't get to be burned out because this is a part of the process. If you truly want to help shape Columbus and move Columbus forward, this is a part of the process. And you have to show up to every one of them because you never know who's at these forums that need to see you and want to hear you. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's crucial. It's crucial for these forums to happen.
Every forum has a different sphere of influence.
Right.
They reach a different audience. And they have a different foundational mission or vision for what they want their forum to come across to, as far as asking questions and things of that nature. That's one reason why it's very important for you to show up. We have a forum coming up on May 11th with Mr. Quinones for the Hispanic community, Latina community. It's very important for you to show up as a candidate and then as a citizen to support this forum, because all of us together are impacted by the policies, the ordinances, everything that's going on in this city. And so it's very important. I think what you said is perfect. If you're a candidate, listen, this comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You need to show up. You need to be at and listen, these excuses, I got this going on, I got this going on. You knew these things when you decided to run. A lot of people have been campaigning since last year.
Yeah.
Since last year.
Yeah.
So you already knew ahead of time, that this is a part of, to me, you clear your schedule. To me, you make yourself available to attend these forums. Like, there's no excuse for it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to do the work. And this is part of doing the work is making sure that you're available for your constituents.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah,
he says different questions and different direction. That's so true.
Exactly.
That's so true. And so,
you need to be visible to as many people as possible.
Right.
You know what I mean? You need to, so people can know who you are, because it was told to me that some of the candidates, nobody knows who you are. You know what I mean? So it's imperative that you show up for the people so people can put eyes on you, as they say.
Say that again. Some people don't even know who's running.
They don't, and it's unfortunate.
They could be talking to a candidate and have no idea. We witnessed this, right? Have no idea they're even talking to the candidate that's on the ballot. So, I mean, my goodness, we got to show up. We got to show up. Corey Wilson said that forum felt like watching a bad job interview.
The forum at AME?
Which one, sir? Which one, Corey? We had the St. Paul AME Church that was on St. Mary's Road, and then we also had the Courier Echo Latina newspaper and Davis Broadcasting. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, but shout out to both of the organizations who put on both forums.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, we can get into our thoughts.
Want to start with the first one?
Yeah, we can start with, was it St. Paul?
Yes, St. Paul AME Church. It was off of St. Mary's Road. It was a packed house. I was sitting in the front, but it was a packed house for my opinion. They were very hospitable.
Yeah.
They had food, they had gifts, they had all of those good things. And then they had it was a good amount of candidates that showed up. However,
it was a lot.
There were several who, that did not show up.
Unfortunately.
Yes, very good, very good. I see you, Denise. I don't think I have my book with me, but your civic engagement handbook, right?
Yeah.
You should be taking notes. You should be taking that with you to every forum and making sure you get, what you need as it regards the candidates as they speak and as they answer your questions.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, back to that. Full house. It had community leaders that were moderators for the evening. Miss Betty was the point of contact. Miss Betty Jackson, I believe her name is. Beautiful woman inside and out. Now, let me tell you, I was sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
We had candidates that did not return any form of communication of whether they were coming or they couldn't come, but they showed up. And so they came to Miss Betty, and Miss Betty asked, where would you like for me to sit, or where can I sit? And she's like, you can sit in the audience.
Yeah. Okay.
You can sit in the audience, right?
Yeah.
And it was, Miss Betty, you gonna do me like that? And of course, that's how Miss Betty was gonna run this camp. But she sent to sit the person to somebody else who was much nicer and allowed that person to go ahead and go forth and be a part of the forum.
Yeah.
But I agree with Miss Betty. You have plenty of time. You need to respond. And if you're going to be on these platforms and in these forums talking about you accessible, you're going to return emails, you're going to return phone calls. Well, this was a prime opportunity for you to do that.
Right.
And you did not. And so we're paying attention. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the setup of the forum? How they had everybody spread out?
I think the setup was great. I think the setup was great. They had, like you said, they had moderators, different leaders in the community to ask questions. But yeah, the setup was great. The thing that I would love to have seen was each district come up separately. Like I wish they didn't have everybody up there at one time, because to me, it was like, it took longer, it seemed like. It took longer. Some candidates had to wait a long time before they even answered the question. So I think they should have done it by district. District 5 come up, and then they ask questions and answer their questions, and then they go have a seat, and then District 7 comes up, and so on and so forth. So for me, that's what I wish that would have been different about it.
Right. Maybe reserve seating for all of the candidates who showed up.
Yeah.
And then your mayorals come on to the front. And then once they're finished, transition them back to seating and so on and so forth. I think that would have been, for seating wise, because some people were sitting on the edges and on the ends. And a lot of those people came in late.
That was another thing.
And walking in while people were talking and things of that nature. And so, when we went to church today, our brakes were pumped at the door, right? You got to wait until they stop praying or reading the scripture or what have you. So, like, someone should have kind of maybe held them to the back till it was a good time to transition them to the front. But overall, it was, a great turnout, a great forum, and grateful to the church and the church family there for the hospitality. And this is not their first year. I believe they consistently do this every year, which, or not every year, but every election cycle or what have you. Yeah. And so thank you for that. Let's see. What are y'all's thoughts on the upcoming mayoral election if you didn't know any of the candidates? If you didn't know, that's a great question, and we'll follow up with that. We'll come back with that.
Okay. But what are your thoughts? If you were there, if you participated, what were your thoughts on the forum at St. Paul AME? Again, it was packed. People wanted to see the candidates because there was like upwards of, I think, 16 to 17 candidates at one time, and that's a lot of folks, right? To try to get in and everybody hear from them in that short amount of time. So so District 1 was the only person that was there was Cindy Barnes, and that's been the consistent consensus from the beginning of time since these forums have started. She's the only one that's been really showing up in the communities. Not really showing up. She's the only one who's showing up.
You know what I'm trying to say,
District 1.
She's the only one showing up for District 1, and she's doing an exceptional job in that. District 3, everybody was present. You had Dr. Jake Golden, you had Mr. Zach Lee, and then you had Miss Sherry Aaron. They were all present. Then for District 5, we didn't have anyone there for District 5. What's her name? Crab has not ever been to any of the forums this year at all.
Not one that we know of. Now, maybe she's been to
her personal forums.
Yeah, maybe she's been to some that are smaller or that not many people know about. And put in the comment section if you've been to a forum where Charmaine Crab was there. You know what I mean? But we haven't seen her. We've been to all the forums so far.
Right. So
we haven't seen her.
Yeah, so I will tell you, she did show up to the Columbus Chamber Forum. And how they had that set up, they had circle tables, and each of the candidates were sitting at a table. And the people who came, you rotated from table to table. So apparently she felt safe enough to show up to that forum and participate in the chamber forum, but nothing else that has been put on by, how they like to say it, the black and the brown community. She's not shown up at all.
And if you claim to represent, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If you claim to represent the people, all of the people, you should be at all of the forums.
That's right.
But
that's right.
Certain candidates are consistently not showing up.
Right, and I think Mr. Mark LaJoy alluded to the fact that maybe they have been informed not to show up because he said he was told not to show up. That's not your place to be or what have you, and all that good kind of stuff like that. And we haven't transitioned to that forum yet, but he suggested that it was hostile. And God knows it was far from hostile in that environment. So, paint whatever type of narrative you want to paint, but that was not the case. It was packed, yes, because it's the mayoral forum and people want to know what your answers are to questions. But if I'd say anything, if anybody was jazzy and hostile, it was him towards Dr. Bryant. And then, Dr. Bryant had a little heat with Kelly. That's where it came from. That's where the hostility came from, if anything, in that audience. But yes. But Mr. Watkins, District 5, has been showing up. He's been showing up consistently. I'm not sure what happened here for the church one, but he's been showing up consistently, and he's, he is a great candidate for District 5. And we are hoping that we can move forward in the right direction with him as new leadership for District 5, because what we can tell is that he does care to represent all citizens and not just a particular citizen. And I think I've seen on District 139, which is Miss Rice, that, people were asking her about endorsements. And I told you about this. I was kind of shocked She was being asked about endorsements, and if I read it correctly, she said, you know, if you're a Republican, you have my support.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the same thing that we have going on in this mayoral race. People will say it's nonpartisan, but she has proven, Crabb, clearly that she doesn't need our vote. She doesn't want our vote. She doesn't care what we think or what we have to say, and therefore she hasn't shown up. In addition to Ms. Gaskins.
Yeah, and how cocky is that?
Ooh.
And how dismissive is that?
Ooh.
You know, for a candidate to have that type of attitude towards the people that they claim that they want to serve.
Right.
You know what I mean? So these are the type of questions that need to be asked. So if you're here, these are the type of questions that we're going to ask. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as far as St. Paul,
District
AME,
7, you had Lakeitha Ash.
She was there.
She was there and on time. And then Becca Zajac came in a little later.
Yeah.
And maybe she had something else going on. But those were the two candidates that were present. And then Shiara Richardson, she is a current star at the Springer Opera for a live play that's going on. So that's where she had to be on that evening. Other than that, she would have been present. Yeah. And then we had District 9. District 9, was everybody there for District 9? Everybody was there for
everybody
District
was
9.
present.
You had Dr. Marsh, you had Mr. Anchor, you had Dr. Cook, and then you had Dr. Van Dorn.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, that was good. The Kogel spell check lady too. Okay, yeah. Kogel wasn't, and finally the mayors, right? The people running for mayor. You had
Steve Kelly was there.
Steve Kelly. You had Dr. Bryant.
Yeah.
She was late. And of course, she said she had somewhere else to be, and that's why she was late. You had Mr. Isaiah Hughley, and then Mark LaJoy didn't show up.
Yeah, that was it.
And neither did Kogel show up.
And neither did Chris Briall show up.
And neither did Mr. Briall show up. He didn't show up for that one. And then transitioning to the Davis.
He didn't show up for that one either.
Yeah, they said he called in and said that he had a situation.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's go back to Joanne Kogel not showing up. And again, she hasn't been to any forums. The majority of them, I'll say. She's been to some, but the majority of them she has not been to. Especially those, like we said, that have been put on by the African American and Hispanic or Latino community. Yeah, she has not attended
at all.
So to me, that speaks volumes.
And she mentioned that her faith and her family will always come first. Good for you. Most people's faith and family comes first, but we also have a duty and a responsibility. And if you're asking for our vote, and if you're asking to, represent us in this city, then, miss me with the foolery and the excuses, because at least 5 of these forums she's missed. 5.
Yeah.
And that's one too many.
Yeah. Again, the majority of the forums, she's missed. Now, she was at the River Center. She was at that one.
Of course.
She was at CSU.
Of course.
But the rest of the forums where people wanted to ask those tough questions.
Was the River Center. Yeah, of course.
She for whatever reason had an excuse, or she couldn't be there, or she had a prior engagement. Yeah, she was
on that one live.
Yeah, but what do y'all say? What is your opinion of Joanne Kogel not showing up? Same thing with Charmaine Crabb not showing up, or Mrs. Gaskins not showing up.
What kind of picture does this paint? Because you're saying you're accessible, you're doing a great job of town halls, but here it is, 5 forums that you have missed. 5.
And you want to connect with the African American community and the Hispanic and Latino community, but
apparently not good enough.
When they're having forums, you're not there. So again, that speaks volumes. But what say you about the candidates who are not showing up consistently to certain forums?
And so she says she's looking forward to being at the one for WRBL, of course. Every place where it's safe, every place where it's comfortable, where you're not, having that opportunity to really hear from the community, you've shown up. Yeah. And to me, that's not mayor material. I mean, I already have my perspective of what mayor material is based on her track record with District 7. But this is just adding to it. You not being available for 5 forums. Right. And then another thing for me is that You waited until the very last minute. Davis Broadcasting, they reached out to you in January. You waited a couple of days prior to the event to say you have somewhere else to be or some other event to attend to. Mm-hmm. That was dismissive. You could have said I have a very important what have you, but you didn't even care enough to make sure they understood that you weren't just being dismissive. You just, I can't be there.
Yeah, and
couple
again,
of days later.
Yeah, and again, this was not something they just put out a week ago,
right.
2 weeks ago, and even if you had an event coming up 2 weeks ago, you could have let them know 2 weeks ago that you couldn't make it.
Correct.
You could have let them know 3 weeks ago that you couldn't make it. So,
correct. Because we don't find out about graduations like overnight. If you're graduating, you know.
Yeah, so
at
we
the
don't
top
buy
of the
it.
Year. Yeah.
We don't buy it. Like Jay-Z said, we don't believe you. You need more people. So we don't buy it. But again, we're gonna show up to the next forum, WRBL.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna tune in. I don't think we're not allowed to be in person.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But if y'all know, let us know. We're not sure if you can be there in person. Mm-hmm. Are you saying it's just gonna be
virtual?
I'm not sure, but we'll find out and we'll let y'all know for sure if it's going to be virtual or in person. So, but if you know, let us know so we all will know.
Now she might show up to Mr. Quinones. She might show up to his forum because she's been to some of his events before, so she apparently she feels comfortable and safe. Okay. And maybe her PR team will tell her, it's going to be okay to join there.
Yeah.
But we will be there.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can segue into David Broadcasting.
Yes.
And the Echo Latino couriers.
Okay, Denise says it's in-person attendance. Okay, perfect.
Good.
Let me get this comment real quick. I would love to be able to vote for the best person, but it is difficult when I show up, but the candidate does not. That's the truth. Yeah. That gives me nothing to decide upon. An empty chair does not get my vote. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, again, I think it was mentioned, it's so important that people understand there's different types of people that you have to reach. You got your social media people. You got your people that are elderly or disabled or a demographic of people who you got to reach out and touch them. You got to give them some paperwork. So if you're not showing up to these forums because that's where they're showing up, if they're not watching you on the news and they're not on social media, they're coming in person, you have missed out, and rightfully so, on opportunities for people to learn more about you and to vote for you. All right. Mr. Corey says, I feel the lack of professionalism by the Commander-in-Chief of America has laid the groundwork for politicians from federal all the way down to local city to be openly unprofessional. It's sad. Sir, you have said something there.
Yeah.
You have said something there. Listen, open the floodgates for people to just show up any kind of way. Right. And when you have a mayoral candidate, coming up to you like bruh and using, profanity and different things like that, like, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
Well, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And I don't care, listen, no, you can't do that. You're supposed to have a certain form of professionalism, period.
Right. So, we can segue into David Broadcasting, the forum that they put on at the chamber. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they do an exceptional job every election cycle. Mr. Hales is the president of the newspaper. Yeah. And Miss Granville, I believe she is the vice president of David Broadcasting. Those were the moderators. Yeah. Very strict on the time, very strict on making sure you answer those questions. Even if they ask you something specifically and you do not answer it, they give you 30 seconds or 15 seconds to, all right, narrow it in and give us the answer that we asked for. Right. So I find that to be great. Mm-hmm. And it was just the mayoral candidates. And like we mentioned, Brialt, he had a situation last minute. He didn't show up. Kogel, of course. She wasn't there. Sir, we're going to get to your question. I see it. I have scrolled back down. We're going to get to it. Mm-hmm. Kogel wasn't there. Dr. Jaketra Bryant Colbert was there. Mm-hmm. And LaJoy was there. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Hughley was there. And Steve Kelly was there. Yeah. So what were your thoughts on their questions and their answers?
Yeah. So for me, there were some tough questions asked in this forum. And I can appreciate it, especially, the type of questions that we want to here.
Of substance,
Yeah,
yes.
we felt like those were asked. For example, they asked about the missing money from Mr. Hughley.
Yeah.
They asked him about, the narrative that surrounded him and his firing and money that was missing. Pepper Troutman, the law firm who did they did the second audit, right?
Yes, the external audit.
External audit. So, this forum had some tough questions, and I feel like, or I believe that Mr. Hughley, he answered it. He was transparent about it.
Yeah,
he laid it out.
When you say that, I think about the fact that with everything that has the smear campaigning, all of the information that's going around, I mean, anybody but Hughley, all the attacks that's going on, he is still showing up.
Yeah.
He is still showing up to these forums. He's still answering the questions. He's still showing up not knowing exactly what's going to be asked, but answering everything in a professional manner. I mean, and they're still complaining. And when I say they, I mean specifically Mr. LaJoy.
Yeah.
He's still complaining.
Yeah.
He starts all of his answers, although he didn't do it with this forum, negatively attacking everybody else on the panel, and then he'll spend the final few seconds answering whatever the question is. Yeah. So, he said he was confused about lines and circles and dots or what have you at this last forum. Sir, you're not confused. You just like to be aggressive and hostile and antagonistic in these forums. You love it. And he said it's going to be WWF with this last one that's coming up for WRBL.
Yeah.
We don't want...
What does that mean?
Yeah, we don't want a mayor like that. And I don't think he understands that. Since 2008, did he say he's been running for a seat for some kind of, for sheriff or mayor or city council, whatever he's ran for, he has still never been elected. Right. And something about that just is not clear for him. And he's still showing up the same way. The same way. Yeah. So, I mean, consider that. Consider all of the news. Consider the termination. Consider all the smearing going on. Considering you have citizens showing up with weapons on their hip, large signs on their cars, things on their shirts saying anybody but Hughley, but the man still shows up in a professional mode. I have not heard him say anything negative or rude or mean or condescending about any of the other candidates. He's only highlighted misinformation. And he knows misinformation because, of course, he has the experience of working in government for all this time. Right. And I will say this, I lost my train of thought, but I will say this. Out of all the candidates there, and this may not answer your question particularly, but if I was sitting on a hiring board and I was looking at their resumes, that's what I would look at, their resumes. That means I don't know their color. I don't know, who they are particularly. That is how I would choose who the mayor would be based on the black and white of their resume. Most of them, good question that was asked at this Davis forum was, what experience do you have particularly working with the budget? Yeah. Right? They all mentioned some form of they've worked with a budget, but have they worked with a government, this city council, this mayoral, this Columbus budget? No. Dr. Bryant mentioned something about, her sororities budget. That's apples and oranges to me. What you think?
Well, so let me say this. When it comes to Dr. Bryant or Dr. Colbert, because of what she is doing in the community, and what I mean by that is she has married her client. Yes. And started an inappropriate relationship with her client. So she's behind the scenes doing things that are a danger to the public. Yes. And then publicly, she's denying that she's doing that and telling the people that she wants to run for mayor and she's the best candidate and that she's for mental health and she's protecting those who have mental health issues.
And I'm a licensed therapist.
Yeah. So you cannot, there is no way that you are for the citizens of Columbus and behind the scenes you're dangerous to the public. You know what I mean? So she doesn't get any kind of credence on this platform. She doesn't get any kind of kudos on this platform because we know for a fact what she's doing behind the scenes. So to me, every time she opens her mouth in any form,
it's a lie.
It's null and void.
Yeah.
Because we know behind the scenes what you're doing. So we can skip past Dr. Bryant, in my opinion.
So let me say this. She's she's an intelligent, she's a beautiful African-American woman. I can say those things to her face. I've talked to her over the phone. This has nothing to do with who she is as a person. It has to do with the behavior of a licensed therapist.
And her character.
And I have a problem with a young man going into prison at the age of 17 years old, spending a majority of his adult life in prison, getting out, an organization within our community getting him out to change his life and move it in the right direction, thinking they are soliciting a professional, bringing this person on board to help this young man, and instead of her helping him, he's back in jail. And I mean, we don't have to go through all of the details of all the things that have went wrong and that have been wrong and the things that she did wrong. But now this young man is sitting in jail. Not only did he go back to jail for a drug charge, she also put on him an assault charge, right? He broke her thumb or her finger or what have you.
No, that's the charge, assault.
In addition to that. So my thing is that had this young man been introduced to a professional licensed therapist, would this be where he is right now? That is my issue. That is my concern. And if she could do it here, she could do it again. People keep saying, oh, it's in the past, and oh, she made a mistake. Listen, in my professional opinion, those are not mistakes that you make. And this mistake cost this young man more time in jail for his life. And I don't appreciate that. So it's hard for me to sit there and listen to her on these forums, champion mental health and supporting, public safety, when in fact, when a professional organization reached out to you for your professional services for this young man, you moved him in your house in less than a month. You married him in less than 3 months. And now he's right back in the same position he was in when he met you. I don't think that's okay.
It's not okay.
And people can come to her defense and people can say people make mistakes. But guess what? Mistakes have consequences. And we are accountable for our consequences. We are accountable for our what? Actions. Yes. Thank you, honey.
I agree. So there's no excuse you can give her, because as a therapist, you know what somebody's triggers are. You know everything about them essentially when they're your client. In order for you to help them, you have to know everything about them. And she knew everything, his triggers. She knew his past.
Yeah, she had access to his records.
She knew what makes him happy, sad, angry. So as a professional, you know what I mean, that puts, when you get in a personal relationship with someone, that puts them at a disadvantage.
And it's unethical. It's unethical. It's not. It's illegal. I mean, you're not allowed to be in a relationship with a client. Period. And you can't say, that, you didn't know, because when the organization reached out to you, it was for services. It was for services because you were a licensed therapist. And, are you continuing to do the same work based on your actions and what you've done? Are you still allowed to do the same work? Somebody needs to ask her that. Is she still holding these groups and things of that nature? Or did something change because of your behavior?
Now we got what do y'all feel about that? What's your comments about what she's done? And make sure you're doing your own due diligence. Don't just take our word for it. But if you're here on our platform, then I believe that you know that we're credible, and we're not going to just feed you a line of BS. We're going to give you the facts. So with that being said, again, make sure you're doing your own due diligence, and then, you know, tell us what you think about what she's done.
And that goes for you too, Ruby Johnson. You're new to our platform. I've not seen you before, but you have some information in here. And honey, if you have the receipts, please post them. We're very, very specific and candid about what we have to say. But what we will not do is share information that is not founded, that is not, we don't have any receipts for. So if you have receipts, then you post the specific receipts. Other than that, I think you just showed up here to be messy.
Yeah. But yeah, we can move on. So there, in this David Broadcasting Forum, there was a question asked about some of our parks and the restrooms in these public spaces that are just, you know, these restrooms are,
oh man,
they do their best. The city does their best to keep them running, to keep them in good shape, but then somebody goes in there and destroys it. You know what I mean? And it costs the city a lot of money to keep going in, whether it's every week, every month, to repair these things that people are coming in there tearing up or breaking constantly.
Funny thing for me, I've never heard of it. A glory hole? Is that what they called it? A glory hole? Listen, Columbus, I have never heard of a glory hole until this past week, because of course one of the candidates, Mr. Brialt, was down at the River Center in those restrooms doing video footage of, you know, what's going wrong in the restrooms. And, you know, I think he's traveled. I think I heard him say that he moved somewhere else and then came back to Columbus or what have you.
Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah, but, you know, if you're traveled and if you've lived in any other city or place here in the United States, if you know that the unhoused, you know that people vandalize, they do things in cities, and the city cannot continue to just throw money away in trying to fix it. And at some point, they stop. Stop. And so specifically for me, I shared with you, you know, while living in California, there were places that you couldn't even get in without a coin or without a token or without them unlocking it for you, because things like this was so bad. And I'm talking about McDonald's, I'm talking about Burger King, I'm talking about Starbucks, I'm talking about the post office, things that people frequent and use a lot. That stuff was shut down and locked down because of issues like this. And so to blame that on the city is a bit immature for me. I think that, you know, a leader understands that you cannot control every citizen in the city. You can't control the unhoused in the city. And the city, the citizens are who contributed to those restrooms looking the way that they look. So, I mean, to go down there now and, you know, put it on Front Street, like, where have you been for the past 10 years? Where have you been for the past 4 years with these issues, and how and what are you doing to contribute to try to fix it besides point the finger? I don't know. I've not ever seen you in city council. I've not ever seen you on the public agenda discussing any of these concerns. And if you have receipts of where you've talked to your city council rep or the mayor or anybody about these concerns, then listen, I mean, that would be better than just showing up making videos, you know, pointing out the issues that you just all of a sudden you've not cared about, or just only complained about up until election season.
It's a concern. It's a concern in Columbus, but it's not a priority in my opinion. Yes, the restrooms need to be working. Yes, people need to feel safe when they go into public restrooms at these parks, whether it be Flat Rock, whether it be Cooper Creek, whether it be Lake Bottom. People need to feel safe, and the restrooms need to be operational and functional. But
the city is not messing them up. They're not, you know, they're not breaking glass. They're not investing money in for mirrors and tissue holders and all these things and then turning around and breaking it. The citizens are. So where's your message for the citizens to take care of the items that we have in our community? Because that's where the problem lies. People going in there breaking mirrors, breaking doors, you know, and so what do you expect? It's as a parent, if your kid keeps breaking stuff, you're not going to keep buying it. You're not going to keep replacing it. You're not.
So what's the solution though? You know, what do y'all believe the solution to that problem is? That the restrooms being vandalized and the restrooms being, you know, inoperable. What's
somebody
the solution?
mentioned a camera.
Yeah.
And Dr. Bryant was like, that's invasive. But of common sense, they're not going to put the cameras inside the restroom. But just on the outside to kind of see who's going in, who's going out. And I'm not sure if that's going to really clock, you know, when the damage was done or whatnot. But, you know, it's a start, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a good discussion to have because, I mean, it is an issue. But there's so many other issues, to me, that need to be tackled before we get there.
Mr. Jamal says, if y'all was the mayor, what would you do about the data centers? That's a great question. Give me 1 second. Somebody says, Nat Nunn says, this is a robot, or what do you call these bots when they're not real people? What was JB husband's aggravated assault charge from in 2023? I'm not sure about 2023. I know about 2025, last year. And then I know about, it was about 13 years that he served initially when he was 17 years old. So if you know,
you're asking about
an aggravated assault charge from in 2023.
Oh
yeah,
anything that didn't have to do with his spouse,
current spouse.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not any of our business. Anything that happened, you know, before that, that's his private business. But
we're speaking on the fact that she champions mental health and public safety.
Right, and protecting mental health. And
protecting, you know, people. And the fact that she had the opportunity to do that with this young man and she failed miserably.
Yeah.
So, again, Corey says, I feel like he's running to split the votes. He's just a good lawyer. He's trained to sell you on a narrative he's pushing. I've yet to hear about any economical growth plan from him. Yeah, I think he's an excellent lawyer. Yeah. You know, we got receipts for that. We know, you know, what does it say? Not at fault, call real. Yeah. You know, we got receipts for that. Yeah. But this mayoral thing, I don't feel like that's been his track record of, you know, showing up in that way. And so, again, I would agree he's here to split the votes.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, Mr. Briel, especially if you watch the forum that he was a part of at CSU, then you know for sure that this guy is not a serious candidate.
Yeah.
There is no way. There is no way because he didn't take the forum seriously, number one. And then number two, it just, you know, people were laughing at this guy. They're not laughing with him. They were laughing at him. You know what I mean? And this is a serious race. This is a serious election. There's no time for
it's not a joke.
Jokes.
Yeah,
you know
it's not
a
joke. Corey says homeless people are going to keep destroying these restrooms if they are open to the public. I feel in saying that we see the real issue we have in Columbus. Okay. Oh Jesus, they say. Okay.
Let me jump in real quick and say this. Candidates are allowed to have a private life, even though they're in the public. They're allowed to have a private life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But when it comes to being a danger or if they're being hypocritical, that's the problem. And that's where we come in to inform the public, hey, this is what your candidate is doing.
It's dishonest.
Right, right. So in order to properly vet the candidate, this is a part of it. So again, yeah, they're allowed to have a private life, but when you're in the public eye, and your private life is hypocritical to your public life,
right?
Then we're gonna do our job to make sure that the public knows
so
exactly
you can
what
vote
you're doing.
Informed, because
right.
that's dangerous. If
you
will lie, and present one face, and I know politicians, elections, you know, they say that stuff go hand in hand, but you hurt a citizen. And if you're willing to hurt that citizen and think nothing of it,
right?
He's back in jail. You're out here running for mayor. I have a problem with that.
And everybody should have a problem with that.
Yeah, everybody should have a problem with that. Now, this person has said that he shot his child's mother in 2023. That's what his initial
But that's null and void.
charge.
Like we're not here to talk about, you know, it's not necessarily about him.
Yes.
He's the victim in this.
Yes.
You know, he's the victim in this. So
when it comes to Dr. Bryant.
Yeah.
And I think the point they may be trying to make is that she knew that. And she's still entered into a relationship and moved him in and married him and all that good stuff right there. She knew that.
She knew everything about him. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. If this is your client, you have to be in the know about their past.
Everything.
So this is whatever happened with him, she knew it all.
And consider that. Consider what kind of mentally strong and healthy person would put themselves in a relationship with someone who has just transitioned out of jail for 13 years for strong charges, not I did a little drugs or I did a little this, for strong assault and different things of that nature. What type of person would put themselves marry and put themselves in a relationship with that person, bring that person in their home amongst their children, their child.
Right. So that's all we're saying. We're not gonna sit by and let you keep coming out publicly and say that you're for the people
and playing the victim.
Right.
Yeah, playing the victim like she's the victim and people are picking on her and lying and being dishonest to the public. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. It is wrong. So you can't say you're for the people when you're hurting people, and one is too many. Exactly. Now, back to the data centers, honey. Let's get these questions before we get too far.
Okay.
It says, if you were mayor, what would you do about the data center? If you was the mayor, what would you do about the data centers?
That's a great question. The data center at this stage, listen, there's too much information out here for people to say that they're not informed about data centers, whether it's closed loop or not. There's too much information floating around about a data center for people not to be informed. Now, if I was the mayor, I would make sure that I did my due diligence to see the pros and cons of having a data center. You know what I mean? And then have a conversation with those who are experts at data centers. I would have a conversation with them. You know what I mean? To make an informed decision, because you're not going to always please the citizens. I mean, in leadership, I know as a leader, you're not going to always, you cannot please everybody. Right. So what you do is you take the best information that you can get and make an informed decision based on a conversation that you've not only had with your constituents or the citizens, but experts and people who are in that field, so you can make a decision, a wise decision moving forward. So as a mayor, that's what I would do.
So we know the data center has issues. We know there's environmental concerns. And the number one issue I believe the citizens are expressing is that they do not want it in their backyard. Right. I don't think they have a problem with a data center. I think they have a problem with the location of where they're trying to put the data center. Right. And so with that, as a mayor, as a council, you must listen to your people, because nationwide, these folks are firing city council. They are recalling them for the votes that they are making to support data centers in their city. It is that serious. Yes. And I think the mayors, I think the city council people need to take it that serious. Now, on the other end of that, we can't sit here and pretend like we don't like data centers, because guess what? Right now we're live because the data or whatever, however this stuff works, is, in somebody's data center. Amazon, a lot of us shop on Amazon. A lot of us shop on these Google and all this different kind of stuff. Yeah. This stuff is housed in these data centers. So to pretend or to behave as if, we don't want data centers, but we're using this stuff, every AI and Chat GP and whatever else is out there, we're using this stuff every day. And it comes with the consequence of a data center. So the thing is, where do we put it? Yeah, I feel like that's the problem. It can't go where the people don't want it to go. And environmental concerns, we've watched the Aaron Brockovich movie where, animals died, water was contaminated, things of that nature. We don't want that to be our story. We don't want that to be in our history or our future. I'm sorry. So those things need to be taken seriously. And instead of, like a lot of candidates, just focusing on the money and the revenue, listen, people don't care about that. People don't care about that. Yeah. They care about their health. They care about the money that they've invested in their land and their homes and their, what they call their little piece of heaven on this earth that they worked hard to invest in. So it's not fair for the city to come in or whoever is coming in and put a data center in their backyard. I agree with that. And I wouldn't want it either if I invested and worked and saved all my money to build my little place on heaven. And I was not, told ahead of time that a data center was going to be there. So They need to figure out where to put them. Mm-hmm. And then they need to figure out where or environmentally that they're not going to harm our community. And that's how I feel about that.
Yeah. Well, we want to hear from you. What do y'all believe about the data center?
Yes.
We believe, data centers are needed. But again, necessity, there's a place for necessity.
Listen, the next thing they talk about is this casino, honey. Oh, help
casino?
Today, yes.
Yeah, that's a hot topic too.
Would you choose investing in a casino or a data center? Ooh, that's a great question. Let's see. I'm speaking from a desktop support technician working for a small data center here in Columbus. In ATL, it's very profitable for economic development. Okay, all right. We get it. So we know that, data centers can't just be off the table, altogether. But at the same time, we have to be environmentally smart. And then also the location, it seems to be the big deal for most of the citizens here in Columbus. Let's see.
Yeah, the location is, people don't want to walk outside their doors. And we've heard stories of other data centers that are right in somebody's neighborhood. They're hearing vibrations at all times of the night. They're hearing loud noises all times of the night. It's definitely a concern for those who are, it's right in their backyard, like you said.
I want to read this too. Corey says one of the many issues that these candidates could be addressing instead of pushing their narratives and views. That's so true. Really focus on getting out what they intend to bring to the table in that elected capacity, as opposed to, beating down or talking about someone else. Let's see. On the election, let's see, data technology overlay indicates more than one. Right. And so another thing, the difference between this data center is the hyperscale is huge.
Yeah.
It's humongous.
Yeah.
It is humongous. So I'm trying to go back up to this other question that the person had.
Listen, I would love for Columbus to have a casino. I think it would be a great thing for Columbus to have a casino. Now, where they put it needs to be strategic, but I think that would definitely bring a lot of revenue to Columbus. You're talking about economic growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think a casino is a great thing for Columbus, and I hope that we get to see it. I don't know. I know they said it has to be, I think, I can't remember what the steps that have to take place for it to happen, but I think it would be a great thing for Columbus.
Yeah, so again, for me, I think you have to be traveled, you have to have lived and, vacations and things of that nature to appreciate what it brings to a situation. Mm-hmm. I've not ever seen a casino area look trashy or nasty. It's always upscale. Yeah. And for me, it's the food. I'm not ever going to throw my money away for gambling or anything like that. But it's the food for me. It's the buffets. It's the quality of food and things of that nature. Yeah. And I think you would just add to the landscape in a positive way. Of course, you have people that, it's a sin to gamble. It's a sin to do a lot of things. And I hear and see a lot of things going on here in Columbus. So I can't see, we got gas stations with alcohol and cigarettes, vaping, all of that stuff right there. So, what's the difference in my opinion? You got to allow people to live how they will live and make their own choices. Like, you don't want to control people in that way. I think that it would bring revenue. I think when people come here for tourism, like that's a place that they would visit. I think when we traveled and we did our OIP inspections, that's where we went to eat. In Gulfport, Mississippi, there was one right there near the base. You walk through whatever's going on there, right to the buffet, and you have a great meal, 2 or 3 times a day. I think that it would benefit the military as well. I think it would benefit the community, tourism, things of that nature.
Bring jobs.
And I think, people just have to have, some people said the jobs would not be sufficient or what have you. But there's jobs right now here in Columbus that aren't sufficient.
I think,
they aren't. They're not paying a livable wage. So, you know, let people choose where they want to work and what they want to, how much they can get paid and things of that nature.
Well, I don't know about that.
I think so,
I gotta disagree with
McDonald's, $9 an hour. Casino, $9 an hour. You know, it's their choice.
It is their choice. But again, like you talked about, if you want a livable wage, then, you know, you need to be looking at other places of employment, in my opinion.
I'm tracking. I mean?
And I think the casino...
that shouldn't be a deal breaker.
Well, I think there's a sliding scale. I think, you know, when it comes to casino, you might have a $9 an hour job, but then you also have a $30 an hour job at this casino. So I think it serves both purposes, in my opinion.
I'm tracking with that, Yeah. So, you know, we got, let's see, that's a casino. Let's see.
And I've been to a few casinos. Well, I've been to Atlantic City, and I had a great time. You know, I played the slots, had a great time. I'm not about to go in there and, you know, run it up.
Oh, no.
Spend
I'm not going to do it at all. I will watch you.
But a quarter machine, a slot machine, you know, it's like $1 machine.
Listen,
you know
I have no money to throw away. None whatsoever.
Come on now. We all throw money away somewhere.
Not like that, though.
We all throw money away.
You are literally, when these places, you are giving away money. You're just giving it away. If you're not winning, you're just giving it away.
Well, if you're going on Amazon, you're giving it away.
Well,
if you're going to the mall, you're giving it away.
I'm getting something in return.
Well, people trying to get money in return. That's why they're gambling. You know, they try, and it's the same thing with the lottery. It's no different than the lottery. That's gambling.
Yeah, well, no. Dr. Purnell says the Georgia Constitution has to be amended in order to legalize gambling. Really?
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Okay. So it's illegal to gamble. Now, why? Why? I mean, because church and state...
No, it's not illegal because the lottery, the Georgia lottery is gambling. It's not illegal, but a casino is different, though.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And then Miss MacBay says, I like peace and quiet. I don't want to be hearing all kinds of loud noises all through the day or night. Is that
with the data center or the casino?
She says, I'll choose the casino instead of a data center. Yeah, casino brings jobs. That's right. That's right.
And real quick, shout out to Dr. Judy Purnell.
Yes.
We appreciate you, ma'am. Thank you for tapping in with us. Thank you for your support.
Yes.
And shout out to you. But yeah, Columbus could benefit, but like Dr. Purnell said, there needs to be an amendment.
Right.
So, yeah, but we'll look more into that
to
see how they can make that happen, because I think that'd be great for Columbus.
I think it'll be beautiful now.
Over baseball, we would rather have a casino rather than baseball.
No, I think Columbus is baseball city.
No,
I think it's baseball city.
Ma'am. No, it's been proven. It's been proven because again, if you're from Columbus like me, you know that Columbus has had several teams and it didn't work out. And I think this is going to be the same. I don't think it's going to work out in the long term.
Well,
and the citizens are stuck footing the bill.
Yeah. So with this casino situation, it's going to bring revenue. It's going to bring tourism. You know, where do they got to go right now? All the way to Montgomery to do a little gambling? Because I don't think you can do it in Alabama either. Listen, I'm from Florida.
Yeah, you can.
I'm from Florida. Once you hit that, go through Dothan, they put up a big old casino in Dothan as you get ready to transition into Florida, and they couldn't open it. They wouldn't allow them to open it. So right at that state line at the Welcome Center, they don't even do, I don't think they even do lottery tickets. People be lined up at those gas stations getting it in with their lottery tickets because Alabama does not allow that.
But there's a casino. I'm not sure where it is, but make sure y'all put in the chat, in the comment section, if you know where the casino. But they used to take people. They used to meet in the parking lot where Panera Bread is on Macon Road, and there used to be a bus that would come there and take people to the casino. So I can't remember where it is, but there is one that's close.
They say, let's see. It says Columbus only wants to bring food chains. Listen, and they need to bring some different ones because we're tired of the same things.
Right.
And then someone says, Jamal says, I disagree. Baseball over casino. Okay. And then Mr. Turner says a casino would give Columbus a personality and revenue. Yes.
That's right.
It would definitely, and then they could do live. Well, I know we got the Liberty District and we got the Springer Opera, but they can also do some live shows and comedy shows and things in there as well.
It will bring, could you imagine in the summertime with tourism, like you said?
Get us some residencies.
Yeah, exactly. New addition. Well, I mean, these people are already coming here, but that's another avenue.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely love to have a casino.
Okay. Yeah. So, I think, it's important to know that it has to be legalized, in the Constitution or whatever she said it was. Let me go back up here and say.
Speaking of the Constitution, but I'll get into that.
It needs to be legalized. And people just need to be open to, bringing something different to the city because we are a tourist city.
Yeah.
So I think that would help. I think it would be great. Job is a job,
Yeah, I agree.
And, people are adults and they're responsible for themselves, and so there's gambling helplines and all kinds of things if people have issues. And of course we have plenty of churches. That they can get some help from just in case.
Yeah. But listen, we're getting off track. I think we need to get back. We need to get back to.
Well, we got to make sure we got to answer what's going on.
Sure.
Yeah, in the comments.
For sure.
All right. So she says a casino and tourism will be on fire. I think so. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens if they decide to move forward with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I think that was there anything else we were going to talk about for this Davis Forum?
No, I don't think there wasn't a lot that was that jumped out to me from that forum. But the candidates that did show up, they did a pretty good job. And there were some tough questions, and again, there wasn't a lot that jumped out to me.
Right.
But I appreciate those that showed up.
I'm glad we're getting closer to the finish line.
Yeah, we are.
With
a
early
month away.
voting. Yes, early voting and then the voting date. I'm glad. So then, we transitioned to Saturday, this past Saturday.
Yeah.
That meet and greet, right?
Yes.
So, we've already discussed that Gaskins, she's not showed up to any forums that have been hosted. A minimum of 5, and she didn't show up 6 because she didn't show up to Colgate either. She didn't show up to those. And she announced early that she didn't plan. She was going to go from door to door. That's how she was going to do her campaigning.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that's what she said. But of course, there's receipts where her and Miss Crab have been having their own meet and greets and their own little forums and things of that nature where they have felt comfortable. Well, of course, they hosted one on Saturday in what we understand to be an African-American owned restaurant called Ed's Southern Cooking.
Yeah, on Woodruff Farm Road.
Yeah. Did anybody in the comments, anybody go to those to that forum on Saturday?
Did you know about it?
Did
you know about the meet and greet at Ed's?
It was open to the public.
Right.
And the public did show up.
They showed up. Not necessarily.
Apparently it wasn't open to everybody. Apparently it was not open to all of the public. Okay?
No, it was, but
a certain kind of public.
It was open to the public. Now whether people showed up to support it, that's a whole different conversation. But it was open to the public. And if you were there, tell us what your thoughts were. But we did show up, not to the meet and greet, but we showed up to lend our support to a campaign.
Well, so wait. So Miss Mack says, exactly, they were rude on Saturday. My brother-in-law was there. Okay. So my intent was to show up and actually go inside and ask questions because the candidates have not been in any public forum for me or, I'm not sure who else to be able to ask them questions as they are running for elected seat. So my intent was to go in. When we arrived, we seen some Simi Barnes supporters.
She was campaigning. Yeah,
campaigning in the area. Oh, the energy was great, waving, people were honking. And so we made our rounds to say hello, and then we got a sign, and we started waving as well, because what we learned is that while I was standing out there and saying hi, the owner, co-owner, whoever, she came out and said that this was not appropriate for them to be out there. Now, I'm not sure if she's familiar with elections or not, but it's very appropriate for people to campaign and wave and all that good stuff on public property.
Well, that's not what I understood.
Okay.
That she said.
Okay.
What I understood was that initially, now we weren't there the whole time, but from what I understood, initially when they showed up, they were in the parking lot close or in front of the establishment campaigning, and then later on they moved towards the street. Is what I thought I heard her say. But when she did approach us and come out there, whatever happened before we got there.
Right.
And the issue was already resolved. They were on public property. They were on the edge of the road, so they weren't on her property. They weren't in front of her property. So
right. For her to walk all the way to the street, that was inappropriate.
Yeah, I feel at that point there was no need for her to come out and address anybody, but she decided to do that.
Right. So from what I understand, and I saw her with my own eyes, you know, there were signs lined up for Gaskin and Crabs, and semi-barn signs were out there as well. I saw the lady pick up a sign and throw it down. She didn't want it to be on the property, but she doesn't have a right to do that. The sign did not belong to her, and the property did not belong to her. Now, if it was the owner who, in fact, said, hey, you can't have this here, that's one thing. But she leases a space for a restaurant, and that's all that she is responsible for. She's not even responsible for the parking lot. So that's what I understood, is that they pulled up, they got out with their stuff in the parking lot, and she felt like that was too close to the front of her establishment. And it was interfering with what they had going on. But they did not enter the premises or anything like that. And I think they said that Crab came outside and also spoke to someone and told them that they were wrong for doing this. And she knows better. You know, you're impinging on someone's rights to campaign. Just because you don't like the opposing candidate or you don't agree with the opposing candidate, focus on whatever you got going on the inside. Because what they were doing on the outside was totally legal. And, you know, to the point that the owner, she said she was the owner, called the police, right?
Right.
What's your thoughts? Honey?
Yeah. I think she called the police because she thought that she was in the right. But when the police showed up, she realized that she was not, because nobody was doing anything wrong.
Right.
And if they were, the police would have made sure to tell everybody, hey, you can't be here, or you're breaking the law. They would have made sure people were informed.
Right.
But that's not what happened. The police came, and in fact, the police told them, hey, they're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
They're not in violation. They can be out here. And then they came and they left. But to call the police and make a big scene, I think it was just unnecessary and uncalled for.
Right. And, you know, if I was the business owner, right, my focus would be on the inside, making sure I'm providing the service that I need to provide on the inside. And that's it. I wouldn't be interfering with who's campaigning outside. I would make sure whoever has paid to use my space is getting what they need. But what you can't do is police the people on the outside. You can't do that. Right.
And again, if they were doing something wrong, you know, the police, law enforcement would have told them, hey, you cannot do this, or you guys are in violation of this or that.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Right.
So, you know, for them to call the police, I think that was just unnecessary and making
a scene.
Just making a scene. So.
Yeah. The lady says that Miss Mack says Crab was disrespectful, rudeness. Well, you know, that's her track record.
It is.
That's how she behaves. And that's how she's shown up in this campaign. It's very just disrespectful and dismissive, as if she does not need our vote.
Well, and that will be why she's not showing up to forums. Because she does not want to be held accountable. That's not leadership. You know, leadership is going to show up regardless, because that's what comes with the title.
And that's what people need to understand. When you sit in those seats and you make decisions that do not reflect what your constituents have asked for, then you also need to be able to show up to town halls, forums, and things of that nature, and speak on it, stand on it, with all of your chest, as the young people say, on why you made those decisions. You know, it's inappropriate to run and hide after you've done things that people don't agree with. And it must be enough people, look in there, that don't agree for you to... How you doing, Mr. Spades? It must be enough people to not agree with you for you not to show up.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So it was unfortunate that they called the police. You know what I mean? But again, what do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about them calling the police and making a big uproar about people campaigning?
Mr. Wilson said, no emotional control, horrible look for that business. And Crab Lady, yeah. Mr. Wilson, I already won't go back there in the first place because, they won't let you get what type of chicken you want. I like legs. That's my favorite type of chicken. I think that's the smallest piece of chicken you can get. And if I ask for 2 pieces of leg and I got to pay for it and you telling me, no, I got to get this piece of chicken and that, it's a no-go for me. But based on her behavior as well, I will never go back there. So somebody mentioned that they lost money. Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still seen people going in and out getting what they were getting. I don't think they lost any money.
Well, they have their loyal customers.
Yeah. So, but they will, based on their behavior and how they handled this situation, because I mean, they blew it up out of proportion unnecessarily. And speaking of somebody saying they lost money, I was referencing Steve Kelly. He pulled right on in, and I'm not the only citizen that's seen him.
We both saw him.
And some others. He pulled right on in. He did not speak or anything. He just rolled on in, pulled him on up to the front part and parked and went in, but had the audacity to post on social media that another candidate was out there causing a circus. However he said it,
that's
right?
what he said. It was a circus.
So
that's what he said. It was a circus.
That's what I posted about. We're not friends on social media, right? We started off this campaign. He didn't like what I had to say.
Yeah.
He blocked. Then he unblocked. And then he sent another friend request. We're still not friends. So someone screenshot and showed me what he put on social media.
Yeah.
How dare you reference African-American people, space, anything, to a circus? We just had the President of the United States reference Michelle Obama and Barack Obama as monkeys. And I would think that you would know better, especially in the South, that you don't do anything like that whatsoever. Not ever. So the fact, that's what I posted about. That part. And then when I Googled his pictures, guess what? That's what came up. So if you want to talk about a circus, honey, start right there with your own life and your own situations and what you have going on. I'm just done. People will support him. People will come and defend him. But you may be able to hang around certain people and behave a certain way, but all of us, it's not okay. We're not going to tolerate any type of disrespect or foolery. And you say you want to be a mayor, but that's the type of language you use. A circus is not it.
Yeah, and then he went on his platform and said allegedly, he was not even there when these things were taking place. So he said allegedly is what he heard from, I'm assuming he heard from the candidates is what he's saying. But yeah, if you didn't hear it, why would you go out on your platform and say what you heard or talk about hearsay? And again, this guy's running for mayor.
Right.
He is running for mayor of Columbus.
Right.
And this is how he behaves.
And he said we've had, he came on in the comments and talking about what he's talked about in person. You're right. We've talked about a lot of things in person. We've talked about your relationship with Crab. We've talked about, what you had going on with the strip club. We've talked about you running, putting in an application for city manager. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things. But what I don't play with and what I don't tolerate is associating our people to a circus. Okay, I'm not that African-American person that's going to let you slide or let that pass. It's not okay, period. And you got some more learning to do and some growing to do. And especially, some of your African-American friends may be okay and they may let you say what you want to say. But that's very insensitive, very disrespectful, and they don't get a pass for me at all. Let's see. Miss McBay said, I went there before. They just looked at me and my husband for 5 minutes. I've never been back in there ever. Health today to the restaurant. Miss Judy, Dr. Judy says, this is the South. You have to understand Southern people. That's right. That's right. You can't talk like that. Not at all. Didn't speak. and said it was a circus. Like, really? Just because he's married to an African American means nothing. That's right. That's right.
And that's what some people try to come to his defense and say, oh, his wife is African American or his wife is
baby,
black.
And you're right. That baby is very much, somebody said the baby looks like me. She's my color. She is very much. And guess what? I am not mixed with any ounce of Caucasian at all. So I don't know who's the baby's daddy, but it is not, in my opinion, him.
Well,
he may have adopted her, and he may have been there when she was born, and you love the baby, and that's great, wonderful. But that doesn't matter that baby is African American, and it doesn't matter that the wife is African American. That does not give you a pass to use the term circus, period, or any other term that's inappropriate.
Right. I just want to stick to the facts. That's
that's my facts.
I just want to stick to
that's my facts.
Whatever is going on in his personal life. Like I said, candidates are allowed to have a personal life.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm not worried about that. I just care about what the man is doing publicly. I care about if he's qualified to be a mayor. And then when he showed up Saturday, you know what I mean, what he did was not right.
Right.
It wasn't right because, again, you're not saying what you saw. You're telling us or putting on your platform what you heard.
And calling it a circus.
Yeah, that's the part. And then you didn't even come out. Like, you didn't get both sides of the story. You didn't come out and speak to the other candidate. You just took one side of the story and ran with it.
That part, talking about you was here to learn. Well, then learning includes everybody. Coming out, if you want to be the mayor for everybody, coming out, saying hello to the other people that were out there too, but you rolled right on by. You saw us.
That didn't happen.
You did not even speak. And you know how I am about that. You keep that same energy. I'm sick and tired of people, they speak one day, the next day they don't want to speak because they mad. Just keep consistently. Just keep it. Keep that same energy.
Well, listen, everybody that is watching this right now, please share this. Please share this with your friends. Share this with your family. We appreciate it. Of course, we love for everybody. This is just not our conversation, but it is our conversation.
Right.
Meaning everybody that's watching in addition to us. So.
And he chose a side when he posted this information on social media.
He just not gonna...
Yeah, he did. He chose a side when he put it on social media. Very clear. One side was a circus. The other side was inside, doing a meet and greet.
Listen.
I hope that speaks loud and clear.
He has that right to do that.
I hope that speaks loud and clear.
But as a mayor, you're supposed to be fair. You're supposed to be for all of the people. You know what I mean? And again, he did not speak to the other side. Yeah. Which was Simi Barnes' camp. He didn't come out and greet or speak. You know what I mean? Publicly, anyways. Yeah. So. Yeah, we can move forward. We can, unless there's something else you want to add to that. No. Yeah. I think we covered everything we need to talk about tonight. I think so. I think we did. And some. Casino and databases, data centers, and all that good stuff like that. I think we talked about a lot. Yeah. Great show. Are you all on Sundays? He definitely chose a side. So we know if he wins, he's definitely not going. Listen, honey, he's not going to win. Well, he's straddling the fence anyway. Yeah, from what we can see, he is not going to win. First of all, he's straddling the fence because he's on Mark LaJoy's podcast, and then you see him with Crab, and then you see him with Gaskins, and then 1 minute he's always been with those people though. He's always been in their circles and in their He's straddling the fence in my and that's why you got to be so very careful. Y'all be out here running your mouths and talking and slapping it up and what have you, and he slides right back in with his folk and he has those same conversations and you just got to be careful. So but again, he says, I can't wait to see his next video explaining. Corey, you are something else. Yeah, he's probably not going to explain. Yeah. He might try. You might be right. There's no explanation for it. He might try, but we know what happened. We were there. We know what happened. So, the narrative that he's trying to paint is a false one. Right. It's a false one. But yeah. Co-sign some foolery. And the only thing I really commented on was the fact that he
situated to call African American people a circus. Mm-hmm. That was my main issue. People have a right to talk about what they want to talk about, and they have their own perspective or what have you.
Yeah.
But listen, when you have your own circus and you're running to be an elected official, the mayor of the entire city, you chose a side and you called the other side a circus. And so very inappropriate. And I just hope people are paying attention to that.
Yeah, especially, and that's what we're talking about. We're seeing this from multiple candidates. Mm-hmm. For some reason, people they're not serious about moving Columbus forward based on what they're doing behind the scenes and how they show up in different spaces. That's how these candidates, you can't take them seriously.
Right.
You cannot take them seriously, but, and that's why we have our platform, and that's why we come on here to make sure that we're informing people of what's going on, what's happening, and how people are moving.
Right. And, what's funny is people like to say, you got a boss, your favorite candidate, you're MAGA because you're just oblivious to your decisions and things of that nature. All of that is, is pretty manipulative. The only people that I consider MAGA, right, mm-hmm. that I have an issue with is that Trump is a documented rapist, mm-hmm. 34 count convicted felon, mm-hmm. alleged pedophile. I mean, with all those Epstein files, he's a pedophile. Mm-hmm. He's been messing with little girls, and he's a racist. It's documented. Those are facts. So to even suggest that people supporting a candidate like, Mr. Hughley mm-hmm. is something similar to being a MAGA person is ludicrous. It's delusional, and I hope that people have enough sense to understand that don't make sense whatsoever. It don't make sense. Hey. The man's track record as a city official, Lord help us if at any time, any job we ever had mm-hmm. where we had employees, everything they did wrong followed us.
Yeah.
And that was a reason for us not to get a position or a job because our employees, mm-hmm. people you cannot control, people that you have no idea, they come from all walks of life, what they're going to do and what they're not going to do.
Right.
That the next time that I show up for a position, mm-hmm. where your employee stole from your last job, mm-hmm. where your employee was late or they took money, what has that got to do with a hill of beans mm-hmm. with me?
Yeah.
And these people are going through investigations, they're mm-hmm. getting fired, but everything, for whatever reason, lands back to the city manager.
Yeah, but that's part of politics, and to me, that comes with the territory. People mm-hmm. they're gonna run their smear campaign. They're gonna do everything they can to discredit a candidate.
Yeah,
that comes with the territory.
Yeah,
but we have to make sure that we're doing our job.
Yeah,
to be able to see through. When somebody's just trying to run a smear campaign.
And don't fall for the manipulation of people trying to label you and suggest that you don't have a brain mm-hmm. or that you cannot think for yourself because you choose a specific candidate. That's just crazy. It's very sad, honestly. It's crazy for me. Because again, it's just like taking everybody and saying, hey, do you remember when you worked and you had this soldier or you had this employee mm-hmm. and they did this, that, and the third? That's your fault. We can't hire you for that. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah. And I think so let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So are you saying if somebody went to go apply for a new job, the previous job should be able to say when they work for us, this is what this person did? Or
well,
that was that
well
what you're saying?
I mean, so this is a public sector, so everything that's went on in the city, mm-hmm. People know. Yeah. But they wouldn't likely know unless they called and they asked specific questions. But just hypothetically, mm-hmm. saying that, you had a job and anything that anybody did wrong, it followed you, on your record to your new job.
But so that's how it goes, though.
Well, no.
Yeah, because... and we want to hear from y'all. In my opinion, mm-mm. and from my experience, if you've done something... Job. Well, and that's why they ask for references, so they can call and ask, okay, what type of employee was this person?
And they're not going to say that, oh yeah, she had an employee that stole money.
Yeah, they are going to say that. But to me, that's different, though. It's different than what's going on with Mr. Hughley, because he was not convicted of anything. He was not arrested for anything. So I think this is not the same thing. They're just making up stuff, and they're
attaching everybody else's guilt and issue to him, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, to a certain degree, but to me, in essence, they're not. They're trying to paint a false narrative is what they're trying to do. Like, I can see if there's some truth and you're putting the truth out. Like, if a previous employer is contacted by a potential new employer, they're going to give the potential new employer the truth. They're just spreading lies about Mr. Hughley. They're not even giving the facts. They're not even giving the truth. You know what I mean? Or maybe they give a little bit of truth and then try to paint that as, the full story.
Okay, let's see. We have to see through the bull crap. We have to learn the candidates for ourselves. Absolutely. And Dr. Purnell says, who really controls Columbus? Whoever is elected mayor must be inside the capitalistic control factors of this city. Yes, ma'am. And she says, yes, it does. They ask for your references. So I get that they ask for your references, right? So if someone calls and they ask, did this person work for you? Mm-hmm. They're going to tell them they showed up on time or they didn't show up on time.
Right.
They did a great job or they didn't do a great job.
Right.
They're going to give characteristics of that person. They're not going to go down the line of, well, they had this one employee and they were always late. They were always stealing stuff.
But what do you mean by they had this one employee?
Well, that's what's happening. Everything that's been wrong in the city, people stole money. People, what else is going on? People stole money. People was fighting in the city government. All of those things are attributed to the city manager.
Oh, okay. So you got to make that. You're not making that clear, though.
Well, I'm trying to, honey. I'm trying to. Help me.
So what you're saying is they're just essentially blaming Mr. Hughley for everything that went wrong.
Yes.
That happened in city government. Okay.
So clearly what I'm trying to say is, so if you called and you asked a reference about me, they're going to tell you, well, was she prompt about turning things in? Yes or no? Mm-hmm. They're going to say yes or no. Did she come to work on time? Yes or no? Did she? Mm-hmm. They're going to just ask about me, right? And they're going to give you answers about me. They're not going to ask, well, did she have any employees to steal money? Well, did she have any employees to...
Or fellow employees.
Right.
Something that has nothing to do with their job and what they do, their performance.
So that's what I'm trying to say. Am I making that?
Well,
it wasn't clear.
You're not making a good job, doing a good job.
It wasn't clear. Okay,
but it is now.
But it's clear now. Okay, so instead of just holding this man responsible for him...
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Somebody found money at the trash dump and they took it to wherever. It's his fault.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's not a fair situation.
But I think they come with the territory, like the smear campaign. And if you know anything about the history of politics, that comes with it. That's a part of it.
Yeah.
People are going to try to do whatever they can do to find dirt on you, to discredit you, to so people won't vote for you.
Right.
And that's part of the game.
Right. And we just got to make sure that we know what the facts are, because people are spreading so much misinformation. It's a lot for people to keep up with. Now, Mr. Wilson, he says, if the city manager technically have more power than the mayor here, why isn't the job search for city manager being more transparent from the city? Is he suing for wrongful termination? So, no, he does not currently have a case for wrongful termination. The EEOC
is how it was done.
Yeah, is a entity that if you feel like you were wrongfully terminated, you can have it investigated. But it's just an organization that's offered to every citizen to have an investigation done. They look at all the facts and, determine if you have a case or if you don't. So he has not sued the city at all. There's no lawsuit or anything in place at all.
Well, Mr. Corey, we appreciate that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that question.
Yeah, because that was a lot of people saying that too.
Yeah, and they brought that
truth.
up. They brought that up in the forum.
Yeah.
A similar question.
It only matters if the dirt is true. I know it only matters if the dirt is true, but honey, on this social media stuff, people are sharing so much that you would think that stuff is true.
And that's part of the game.
That's what's sad about it.
That comes with the territory.
I mean, they're saying it like it's facts, honey.
That's what comes with it. If you're going to be in the public eye, especially in politics, listen, people are going to look under rugs, blankets, beds, and everywhere else they can find a little piece of dirt. And like you said, it doesn't have to be true. But just the fact that they're putting it out there, some people will just run with it. They don't even care about the truth.
Take it and go with it.
They don't even care about the truth.
That's the truth.
But yeah, that comes with politics and that comes with the territory.
Yeah.
The smear campaign is real.
Yeah.
So if you want to potentially run for office, you have to know this is what comes with it.
Right.
So your ducks need to be in a row.
Right.
Your ducks need to be in a row. And if your ducks are not in a row, you don't need to be running until they are.
She said they find stuff from 1856.
Right. That's how they do it. That's how they do it.
If it's not, you can get in front of it and say, hey, this may come out. There's a way to do that.
Yeah.
But what you don't do is, get in front of it, but then still be out here slinging mud about other people and things of that nature. You don't do that. Just run a clean race. Just stay in your lane, especially when you have plenty of things to come out of the closet. Personally, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Stick with the facts. Run a clean campaign.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. So I guess we can leave it there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, before we go,
I feel like it was something else I need to say about Mr. LaJoy.
Okay. Well, he talked about Joanne not showing up.
Yeah.
He talked about the next forum for WRBL being WWF.
Yes, Lord.
And what else? He said if you want to blame somebody,
blame Crab.
blame
Crab. He is something else, right?
Yeah.
He is something else. I think he's enjoying his podcast. He's having the candidates. Like, who does that? Mm-hmm. Having the candidates that are running for mayor.
Each his own, but I wouldn't.
On his podcast.
Yeah.
I think they're just having a good time, knowing good and well they're not going to win.
That might be what it is. Yeah. But,
She said, what days are you guys on here? On Sundays. On Sundays at 6:30.
Every Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, we are right here and having this engaging conversation with the people and for the people.
That's what it is. Yes, he says the guy that ride around with the big poster has a problem. That's real hatred for the man. That is wild. That is what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, Mr. Patterson.
Mr. Patterson showed up at the St. Paul AME Church Forum. He had on an anybody but Hughley shirt, right? The church folk, everybody has always been kind and nice to him. No one said anything to him. Nobody's made him feel uncomfortable. He shows up just how he wants to show up with anybody but Hughley. He won a prize, and they tell me, one of the church mothers told me that he put a big shirt over his shirt that says anybody but Hughley to walk up there and get a prize that he won. He showed up at this forum with this anybody but Hughley shirt on. They say he was cursing, saying BS and stuff like that in the forum. Nobody says anything to this man. Everybody makes him feel comfortable when he shows up to these forums. But you have the audacity to sit here and call somebody a circus. Have several seats.
But he didn't call somebody a circus.
I'm talking about the other one. I'm saying, and this man shows up with the weapon on his side, the big old signs, anybody but, and no one is disrespectful. No one makes him feel uncomfortable. At least that that I know of.
Yeah, nobody's giving him a hard time.
Right.
Nobody, like you said,
nobody said he's bringing the circus or he's, whatever. He sits, he listens, he says what he wants to say. He has the right to wear whatever he wants to wear on his shirts. But as soon as you see some people out there campaigning, you want to call it a circus. Not Jason Patterson, but Mr. Kelly, because he's very much a supporter of him.
Yeah, but we can leave it there. Again, listen, we appreciate everybody who tunes in. We appreciate everybody who supports, and again, share this. Don't let the conversation stop here, especially if you find value in what we do. Share this with your friends, share this with your family, and come back next Sunday, same time, same channel, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, And we're glad to have everybody. Thank you for your support again.
Yes, candid conversation. It might not be popular, but it's important. We can agree to disagree, and we can have these conversations that are likely had privately, publicly, so we can sharpen iron sharpen iron.
That's right. If you're not registered to vote, make sure that you are registered to vote, because tomorrow is the last day for you to be registered to vote. So if you're not registered, make sure that you make it your business to register to vote.
Listen, Mr. Wilson said we have a history of being too nice to our enemies. I agree, concur, sir. Good night, King and Queen. I enjoyed I'll be tuned in. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
It was great to have you.
Again, good night, peace and love, and we'll see y'all next weekend.